So here is the fairly common problem that you get the wet carpets on the passenger side rear. The bottom of the door is leaking water, so we start off with a trim removing tool and just start working at that one corner. There's a big clip just above where I am, and you have to go quite carefully underneath because there's the fibre optic sort of tube, so it's better to attack it from the front. And there's quite a lot of clips all along this, so just work along slowly. And right in the top corner there's quite a thick one just there on the end. You see it came out right. So just work through them slowly, and you'll see in a minute when I pull this off. Just got to be careful not to slap off this top clip on the corner. Just have a bit of a work around there and just take your time. There it is. You can see that clip now there. That's that big sort of thick one. And there's another clip on the end there. And of course just this light tube you can see there, that's the fibre optic part. So it's what you need to avoid with the trim tool. Next part is to get rid of the door handle trim. So again, this one's pretty straightforward. Work from the wider end, so the back end to the front. In this top corner there was quite a tricky clip, and that's quite common to break. So just go slowly with it. Just use your tools, working around. And when you go to pull it off, pull from the back. So we're working on there. And just give it gentle. And a lot of these things, like trim things, you've just got to take your time when you're doing it. Otherwise, that's where you snap things. And just more use your finger strength in the plastic tools. And you can see it slides off there. And again, there's another sort of fibre optic sort of tube there. Right, so next part is a T30. So I couldn't find my screwdriver, so I've got my socket and the extension bar. Just pulling the handle back there just to give myself a bit more access. I think if I had a screwdriver I wouldn't have to do that. Take that out. So there it is, the T30, 30 that is. And then that's your main sort of things that are holding it on, and what you really have to do now is just work around. And I've got to admit, this is the part where you sort of do think, is this actually going to come off? You just got to keep working at it. The trim tools I've got are pretty weak. I should have paid a bit more money and got some thicker ones. But they sort of work, and I'm just really pushing my finger behind there. And roughly in this area you can feel when you've got your pry in there, you can feel you've got a clip. That's quite a big one, so I was working on that. There it goes. And when you get that one clip off there, you know you've got them all. Just go through slowly. Push down the door lock, so it's out of the way, the peg. And these are hooked onto the top, so it's hanging on the top, if that makes sense. You see that? So you've got work from the bottom. Nearly knocked my camera over. And lift it up. It's sort of hooked on. Just pull and lift. That's it. That was my doorknob sort of latch thing falling on the floor, which is fine. And you can see in a minute how it's connected on. There's a fair bit of workaround room. So we've got the door latch, which you just pull down on the white plastic, and then you see it threads over a loop. Now you can actually disconnect the cables and go through, but I wasn't keen on doing that because of the amount of small clips, and that's where I usually break them. So I thought, well, I'll twist it round. Now this bit's interesting. That's where there's the failure of the seal, and I'll go into that in a bit more in a minute. So you pull off the foam part. Now it's pretty robust. I mean, this is a 2011, and it's 2020, so it's 9 years old. It's not done a lot of miles of the car, and it's not been in a hot area, so the foam's in really good condition. I was worried that might have perished, but it was just corner there that I originally showed in the picture, where you could see that, where it would come apart. And this Buytl tape, which is Buytl tape, is that's stuck on there. It's quite sticky. But you can see there that failure point. And follow my finger down, you can see where the water's run in and come down to that final point there. Bottom of the door card's soaking wet from the water. Now this, I don't know if this is the Buytl tape or if it's just the glue that they used on there. It's a bit like chewing gum, really. So I just went around and pulled all it off. In reflection, I could have probably just repaired that top area and just put some silicone on there. But the nice thing about the Buytl tape is that you can actually pull the card off. So if you do need to replace your regulator for your windows or do any other maintenance behind there, you're not sort of tearing the foam to replace that. So I just worked around, pulled all that off, and then once it was off, got some white spirits, a rag, just to clean off where I'm going to put the new tape on there. So it was just mainly getting that nice and clean, because it's not going to stick properly if you've got that left on there. Bit of a noisy street I live on, sorry. But you see in the top corner there was a bit still stucky around that peg there, but I cleaned most of it off afterwards, but nobody really wants to see somebody clean a door. Maybe they do. So interestingly, you'll have a look at this. I'll put the numbers in the next bit here. But on the back of the card, you can see you can buy it with glue or without glue. So if you do feel you want to go down that route, then I'll put the numbers in the description for what they are. And this is for the passenger side rear. So I'm just using my heat gun just to heat up the foam. It was only because it just got cold and I wanted to make sure that whatever was left on there, if there was any of that Buytl tape, it would still sort of heat it up and make it a bit more sticky. So the roll of this tape was £8 off Amazon. Like I said, just Google search the thing. You can get it on eBay, but Amazon was about the best price. It was £8 for this roll. And the length of the roll that I've got here is sufficient for 2 doors, I'd say. So what I'm doing is it's a already double-sided or sticky all around. And what I've done is I'm just working around and rotating it, just following the contours and the shape of what's there. A little bit fiddly on the corners, but if you're turning it and just making sure you're not getting the double-sided paper or wax paper sticking down or caught. You can feel the tape's pretty sticky stuff, so you know it's going to work well. Some people have sort of heated it up if it's really, really cold, but I didn't think it was necessary. Now what I did was I've sort of cut a slightly longer length, so it's going to overlap. Partly because where I was worried there was the split in the foam door card. Just giving myself a bit of extra to push in there, then it would give another sort of level of protection in that area where I thought it had failed before. So what I'm doing is just going around pushing the tape, because I had it roughly in place where it was, and I'm sort of giving it a bit of a squeeze to get it to go down, and make sure it's nice and neat on there. So in true sort of style of being in England, and doing anything on your car, it's always going to start raining. It seems like it's Sod's law. The silver rod up there is the actuating rod for locking and unlocking the door, which I'll just move around there. And you can see roughly where it goes. Now, this is where, in retrospect, disconnecting the wires would have made it easier, because you've got the door card hanging off there, and it does make it a bit more difficult to try and work. But you can work around it. Like I said, I didn't want to break any clips when I was doing it. So just finding a way of supporting it, reattaching this, so putting the black piece in first and then clipping the white part in. And then what I really did here was I didn't really record it all, but you have to line it up. You can figure out where it all goes in, peel off the backing paper and then start sticking it up. You see the rain is pouring down now. A few good thumps when you've got your clips lined up. You know you're in place. I'll give it another push again in a minute. T30 screw straight in there. Get them nice and wet. Joy of working on cars yourself. This is far, far quicker than the taking apart all of this. Again, this just clips in. You've got that big clip in the top corner, so go backwards with it. So you get that top in there and clip into the back. It's done easy. And then your silver trim piece or whatever other colour piece goes in. Remember, you've got that big clip just there in the middle, and there's one on the end there, your spot. I don't actually quite get it in, which I didn't realise, but I went back and got it afterwards. So just pushing it in. It's more worried about the rain. That was enough for the time being. And there. So the rain came down pretty heavy for about an hour or so. This is me checking afterwards. And as you can see, job done. No water leaking. Thanks for watching.